Am I the asshole for telling my sister she's a shitty mother in the family group chat? My sister, Sarah, 35, and I, 30F, see each other around Christmas every year. Other than that, we don't really communicate except for the occasional family group chat exchange. She has 2 sons, Jackson, 15, and Ethan, 13. I've always known that Ethan is quiet and reserved, and until recently I thought he preferred to not have a lot of attention, until I realized he's just not getting any. Until last Christmas, I thought Jackson and Ethan had the same dad. I learned Jackson's dad left Sarah after she cheated on him, hence, Ethan. I recently realized that Sarah would reach out in the chat on behalf of Jackson. If he had a sports game, doing a fundraiser, had a social event to attend, she would ask us to attend, donate, or help him get to, from his social event if she couldn't take him. Or if he was suspended from school, she would reach out to us for help, but rarely would we hear anything about Ethan, and she never told us that Jackson was suspended 99% of the time for bullying Ethan and his friends. They now go to separate schools. Recently Sarah asked if someone could take Ethan to his school choir concert so she could attend parent conferences at Jackson's school. Odd to me because she didn't ask anyone to go watch him perform, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt and thought maybe Ethan didn't want anyone to watch. I offered to take him, watch the concert if he wanted me to, and take him home. He had a solo, he was smiling and clearly loved what he was doing. His choir director said Ethan is always helping other students and asked me to come to more concerts. Sometime after, Sarah was once again busy at driver's ed with Jackson and Ethan was home. He started vomiting and called his mom. She reached out and asked if anyone else could go take care of him until she got home, so I did. But she didn't come home early. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks ago from now, he broke his hand. Last weekend I bought tickets to the symphony and planned to take him, but wound up not being able to because I was sick. I transferred the tickets to his mom and begged her to take him and she said she would. I texted Ethan yesterday and asked how he liked it but he didn't respond. So I called his mom. She didn't take him and didn't find anyone else to. She was busy and forgot, but wasn't too busy to ask the family group chat the day of the concert if anyone would help pay for Jackson's DC trip in the spring. I went off on her in the family group chat and said she is being a shitty mother. I said I don't know if it's because she inherited the favoritism gene from our parents or if she is subconsciously punishing him because she cheated and got rightfully dumped, and I told her that she needs to step up for her son. Of course this has caused a group chat storm. At first I felt justified, but some of the responses say otherwise, and Sarah of course says I'm the biggest aw. Am I the asshole for calling her out in front of the rest of the family? You're 100% justified, but that might be something you should send her in private messages, and gossip with everyone else on the side to get them on your side first. People in families are often biased against anything that disturbs the peace. A lot of people prefer an easy peace to justice. Not the asshole. People like your sister aren't going to respond or care about your deserved criticism of her. The most helpful thing that you can do is be there for Ethan. Having someone who cares can be a lifeline for lonely kids like him. Please stay in his life. Not the asshole. You seem to be the only shining light in that kid's life, go auntie. Shitty mom needs a reality check. Can you see if Ethan wants to live with you and everyone go NC with your shitty sister and his equally awful brother? Or else call CPS and have this investigated. Did Ethan break his hand or did Jackson break his hand and Sarah is covering it up? Someone needs to be on Ethan's side. Info. Had you broached this topic with her privately before? Or is the first she's hearing about this in a group chat? Not the asshole. You are calling it like you see it. Hopefully you will be able to still spend time with Ethan as it sounds like he could really use someone that cares. You won't be able to change your sister's crappy parenting but you might be able to make a difference in Ethan's life. Am I the asshole for skipping Thanksgiving to avoid my cousin's fiancé? I, 27F, am very close with one of my cousins, 30F, but I'm not a big fan of her fiancé. They've been together for 5 years and at family events he's either a total grump, he's drunk or both. On Thanksgiving night my family always has the Charlie Brown Christmas movie on in the background after dinner to kick off the holiday season. The volume is almost zero and it's just on in the background, we don't sit around and actively watch. 2 years ago he complained about it being on even though it's not loud and the football games had already ended when we put it on. Last year, he showed up drunk, pretty much belligerent and was slurring words. And he immediately started being rude to my cousin when she tried to give him water instead of beer and he complained about the movie so much that we changed it even though he was in the kitchen and it was playing in another room. After an hour, I went and put Charlie Brown back on because I love watching it and he wasn't paying attention so I thought he wouldn't notice. I moved the TV controller under a pillow so he couldn't change it again and when he realized it was back on he freaked out and started yelling for someone to change it. No one said anything but some of my family members were looking in my direction. Then he full on yells at the table I'm at and told me to turn the fucking movie off. One of my brothers got up and told them to leave and he and my cousin left right away. He apologized after but my cousin acts like it didn't happen. It was really jarring to have someone yell and curse at me. This year, I skipped Thanksgiving because I didn't want to deal with him and I'm still not comfortable being around him. My aunt and uncle were upset that I didn't come and tried to guilt trip me. I've seen him and my cousin at other events this year and we were cordial. I kinda feel like the asshole because I hid the remote but I think I was justified in skipping in Thanksgiving. My two brothers have been on my side since it happened and so have my other cousins. Not the asshole. But in the spirit of the holidays, perhaps you should send him a gift anonymously. May I suggest the Charlie Brown Christmas on Blu-ray? Not the asshole. At family events he's either a total grump, he's drunk or both. Not a nice combination Ime. A belligerent and rude drunk is even worse. It's not his house. If he doesn't like the family tradition movie he doesn't have to watch it. Yeah, I suppose hiding the remote is a bit of an thing to do but you get a pass because his behavior was way over the top. This year, I skipped Thanksgiving because I didn't want to deal with him and I'm still not comfortable being around him. I don't blame you. However, he shouldn't be invited to anything until he addresses his drinking and learns to behave. And if that's never, so be it. Your aunt and uncle are the they should be addressing him. How does he come in someone's house acting like he's in charge and intimidating people? And how are they guilt-tripping you for not showing up? People can choose where to go. It goes without saying he's the biggest asshole with your cousin a close second. Not the asshole. What's wrong with your cousin? Can't she see what an asshole he is and fitch him? Does she have no self-respect or omens for an awful future with him? People need to stand up to this $1 and tell him his behavior is out of line. Explain he's welcome to leave if he doesn't like it. Everyone needs to stop tippy-toeing around the drunk. Not the asshole. Avoiding a belligerent drunk is simply good taste on your part. There is no reason you have to put up with shouting and hostility as part of Thanksgiving. Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law that she is the reason my brother is sick? My brother, 44, got sick at work with sunstroke and dehydration, so he called me, F30, to get him to the hospital. He was admitted overnight but sent home the next day and he went back to work. Same day, late night, my sister-in-law called my mom, who lives with me, and yelled at her that he was worse and it was our fault because we didn't leave him at the hospital. He didn't want to stay in the hospital because he didn't have the money for it. Also, if he don't work, he don't get paid, and they are in a tough financial situation because of her credit cards and can likely be evicted because their home loan isn't paid. So I told her that she is the reason my brother went back to work too soon because she spends too much money they don't have. She also is a stay-at-home mom. Now she sent my mom a long email telling her she won't ever see her grandchildren again and she is the worst grandma in the world for siding with me. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Sometimes, you need to truth-bomb someone who lacks self-awareness. Having said so, I think that the person your sister-in-law needed to talk with is your brother, not you. Right now, all that you have is an angry sister-in-law and a sick brother, with no plans on how to deal with their finances and/or their future. All things considered, redirecting the conversation to include the two principals, and recommending that they have an adult conversation about their finances may have been the wiser course of action. Not the asshole. You can't make a grown man stay somewhere he doesn't want to be. You told the truth and his wife didn't like that. So she's taking it out on your mother to try and hurt her but also drive a between both of you. TBH, it was your brother's fault for not caring for himself while at work. Not the asshole, but I don't think you are correct. Your brother is in a relationship with her because he chooses to be. So even though she is a terrible spouse it's up to him to live his life how he chooses to live. Info. Which is it? Was he sent home by the hospital? Or did he ask to be discharged? How many kids do they have? What ages? If they are young, who is going to help with childcare? I mean, your sister-in-law is objectively not the reason your brother is sick. So you are wrong about that. But being wrong about something doesn't make you an asshole. But I don't see any helpful suggestions being offered. Just finger-pointing and blaming. I mean, what did she used to do for work? It may make far more financial sense for her to be a stay-at-home mom. Also, what is she wasting money on? Why would you say something so mean? A better response would have just been, it was your husband who wanted to go home so you better speak with him. She did not ask for an advice. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to pay for her own vacation? My 37 girlfriend, 35 female, had a vacation planned to the Bahamas with her son, 12, before we even started dating. Before they left, I basically paid for the hotel, the car rental and even had to pay for their flights since there was a change on the date. Now I have no issues with the vacation at all since of course it was planned since before we got together and I would never try and come between a mother and her kid. She had supposedly been planning this for over a year. Right before they left, she tells me that she needs to borrow $2,500 for the trip. I told her I didn't have it to give to her as I still have my mortgage to pay and my own kids to take care of. All in all, I've already paid for about $5,000 of the trip. I told her that if she couldn't afford the trip then she really shouldn't be going. Of course she got mad and they left and I haven't heard from her since. I've seen posts on social media, but no contact at all between us. Of course friends are telling me I was too hard on her and that what I said was mean. Am I the asshole? What exactly did she plan for? The hotel, you paid. The car rental, you paid. The flights, you paid. So far you have paid for her planned vacation and she has the nerve to want $2,500 more for her food and entertainment? You got scammed by a grifter. Not the asshole. P.S. You have some SHTTY friends. Not the asshole. You already paid a substantial amount for a trip that wasn't even planned with you in mind, and it's completely reasonable to set boundaries when it comes to finances. Relationships shouldn't involve one person carrying the full financial burden, and $5,000 is already a generous contribution. If she can't afford the rest of the trip, that's something she needed to plan for herself, especially since this vacation was supposed to be her responsibility from the start. I believe you have been scammed. Your post is quite difficult to understand too. How could she have planned things in advance but you paid for it? If your post is real, you were taken for a fool and when you realized it she left. Definitely not the asshole. 1. A trip is a luxury, not a necessity. She should be able to afford it on her own. 2. You are not going on the trip yourself, so you don't owe her anything. 3. You've already put in $5,000, what more can she ask you for? 4. Because you only gave her $5,000 instead of $7,500, she decides to go no contact with you. You aren't her boyfriend, you are her wallet. Get out of this relationship. She may be locating a new boyfriend in the Bahamas as we speak. $7,500 for a trip to the Bahamas? I'd be hard-pressed to spend $4,000. The Bahamas are not a 5-star destination. Write this off as an expensive mistake and move on. You are the asshole for falling for her scam. She got a free holiday from you and was going for spending money as well.